Hi guys, if you were in yesterday's lesson and you're unable to come to class today, or you got my email yesterday about us not finishing our work in the hour that we had, I'm going to start the lesson where we left off yesterday, this recording, and then I'm just going to have you pick up at the end. So if this is confusing to you and you did everything from the video yesterday, then you can just kind of scroll through the video until we get to the day 11 classroom teacher lesson video, and you'll notice I'll kind of pause and switch videos. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, so now that we've completed 16A, I want you to remember that you've done so much great work elaborating on evidence to prove what the homeland means to each group. I think you're ready to express your knowledge and put your new writing skills to the test. You've done all of the hard work for focusing question task 4. Now let's look at what the task is actually asking us to do. There is a copy of Assessment 16 Focusing Question Task 4 in your Schoology folder for today, but you can just follow along with me for now, and you can look at that later when you need it. So follow along with me as we read through this task together to make sure you understand what to do. First, what's the purpose behind this task? This task will give you an opportunity to express your understanding so far of the focusing question, how does the conflict between the Nez Perce and the U.S. government and settlers reveal differing cultural beliefs and values? Writing about this topic and practicing your contrast writing skills in a smaller focus piece will help you prepare to write a longer comparison-contrast essay for focusing question task 5 after we finish the novel Thunder Rolling in the Mountains. The introduction. For the past several lessons, we have been learning about the conflict over the Nez Perce homeland that erupted between the Nez Perce tribe and the U.S. government and settlers in the 19th century. Why was the Nez Perce homeland important to each of these groups? How do these differing views of the land reflect differences in the group's cultural beliefs and values? Now that we understand the purpose and introduction, let's look at what this assignment is really asking us to do. For an audience that might be interested in learning more about the conflict between the Nez Perce and the U.S. government and settlers, write a well-developed paragraph in which you contrast the significance of the Nez Perce homeland to the Nez Perce tribe and to the U.S. government and settlers. Develop your ideas with evidence from chapters 1 through 3 of Thunder Rolling in the Mountains and the A Landscape of History video. Expand on your ideas by explaining how the land's significance to each group reveals the group's cultural beliefs and values. Your paragraph should include a topic statement that identifies the group being contrasted and states the essential idea, how the groups differ. 2 supporting points to show how the significance of the Nez Perce homeland differs between the groups. Evidence from Thunder Rolling in the Mountains and A Landscape of History video to support each of your points. Elaboration on how the evidence relates to the essential idea in your topic statement and reveals differing cultural beliefs and values of each group. Transitions to contrast ideas. A concluding statement that reinforces your essential idea. And correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. Okay, so we're going to look at a graphic organizer soon. But first, our craft question is, how do I use evidence and elaboration to develop a topic statement in a contrast paragraph? So, I'd like for you to have out both evidence organizers, handout 15A and handout 16A. The next step we're going to do is review your evidence and come up with a strong topic statement for your contrast paragraph. But what is the job of a topic statement in a contrast paragraph? Well, you may be thinking that it states the essential or main idea in a paragraph. It's like the car's steering wheel. The steering wheel drives the car, and the topic sentence drives the paragraph. But remember, the job of a topic statement in a contrast paragraph is a little more unique or specific. What do we think the job of a topic statement in a contrast paragraph is? Well, contrast paragraph, the topic statement states how two subjects are different. The body develops the topic with two supporting points, telling how each subject is unique, followed by evidence and elaboration. The concluding statement reinforces the essential idea. So this is the graphic organizer that we're going to be working in to complete our focusing question task 4. So I want you to have open handout 16B from Schoology. So go ahead and pause and do that now. Okay, so you can follow along in your own graphic organizer, or you can follow along in mine. Oh, I'm sorry, too far. Oops, 1 second, I'm just trying to zoom in. There we go. So, directions. Use this planner to help you organize your ideas for your contrast paragraph. Remember, your goal is to help your reader to see clearly. 2 with the S is the topic statement, EE for point 1 and point 2, and then C is your concluding statement, clearly. So, you're going to be completing this graphic organizer. So in this first box, your first point will go here. Make a point about the land significance for the Nez Perce. Make a contrasting point about the land significance for the U.S. government and settlers. So you could think about starting your sentence with, the Nez Perce homeland is significant for the Nez Perce because blah, blah, blah. But to the U.S. government, it means blah, 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 blah. Something along those lines. Then in your first point, you're going to focus on cite evidence that develops point 1, including any necessary context. So we're going to be thinking about that evidence that we used in handout 15A for the Nez Perce. So you're going to pick one of those pieces of evidence that you think is most important, and your elaboration that you've already written. Explain how this evidence develops point 1 and reveals the group's cultural beliefs and values. Then you'll go to point 2, which is what we've just done today with the U.S. government. Cite evidence that develops point 2, including any necessary context. Then explain how the evidence develops point 2 and reveals the group's cultural beliefs and values. Okay, so point 1 will be the Nez Perce, what it means to Nez Perce, and cite point 2 will be what it means to the U.S. government, and then your concluding statement reinforces the essential idea. Make this smaller again. There we go. So remember to use your evidence organizers on handout 15A and 16A to complete this organizer on 16B. Once you're finished with this planner and have submitted it, you are done for today. Tomorrow we will write our focusing question task 4 and use your checklist to make sure we have it.
Okay, so this is where we're going to go into the next lesson. So remember, your job at this point is to have filled out handout 16B on Schoology on that assignment. Do not submit it yet because we are going to be using it today. But here we're going to go into this next part of the lesson. And let me kind of jump ahead as I talk a little bit. Actually, I think it's actually kind of important what I said at the beginning. We talked about it in our lesson yesterday, but I think it'll be good to hear it again.
Welcome to the Day 11 Classroom Teacher lesson. This is a continuation of our really hard work from yesterday, where we worked on our evidence organizer, 15A, to help us write some context and elaboration on some evidence that was given to us for the importance of the Nez Perce homeland to the Nez Perce people. And then we worked on handout 16A, and we did the same thing, just with a landscape of history, and we were given evidence, and we filled in the elaboration for that. Okay, and then from that point, we should have meshed that all together in handout 16B, and filled out our focusing question task graphic organizer or planner. So today should be a whole lot easier than yesterday because you really did all of the hard work yesterday. Okay? All that we're going to do today is really finalize answering our focusing questions. How does the conflict between the Nez Perce and the U.S. government reveal differing cultural beliefs and values? Okay, so let's review our Assessment 16 Focusing Question Task 4. So we have in mind...
Okay, so we literally just went over this. So I'm going to actually skip and I'm going to go right to this part, the task, because I had some pretty important things to say in this one that we'll review. Let's see.
For an audience that might be interested in learning more about the conflicts between the Nez Perce and the U.S. government and settlers, write a well-developed paragraph in which you contrast the significance of the Nez Perce homeland to the Nez Perce tribe and to the U.S. government and settlers. Develop your ideas with evidence from chapters 1 through 3 of Thunder Rolling the Mountains and A Landscape of History video. Expand your ideas by explaining how the land's significance to each group reveals the group's cultural beliefs and values. There's a lot in there, but hopefully this all sounds super familiar and you feel really comfortable at this point. So let's break this down. Write a well-developed paragraph. I wonder if can I write on here? Oh, goodness. Pen. Okay, hold on. Okay, I got my pen, so let's see if it works. Write a that's not very good. Well-developed paragraph. Oh, okay. Right, my finger. One paragraph. Not very good. Graph. Okay. One paragraph. I think you see what I mean here. Let me see if I have a highlighter. Highlighter. Okay. In which you contrast the significance. So contrast, looking at the differences of the significance. So what it means. So what the Nez Perce homeland means to the Nez Perce tribe and to the U.S. government and settlers. Develop your ideas with evidence from chapters 1 through 3 of Thunder Rolling in the Mountains and A Landscape of History video. Sorry, this pen is not good. This looks really bad. I'm so sorry. Okay. Expand on your ideas by explaining how the land's significance to each group reveals the group's cultural beliefs and values. Wow, that last one was really good. Okay. So, not only are you saying what does the Nez Perce homeland mean to the Nez Perce, and what the Nez Perce homeland means to the U.S. government and settlers, but you're telling me what that shows about their cultural beliefs and values. So what the land means to the Nez Perce and what that shows us about what they believe in from their culture and their values, the things that they value, right? And then the U.S. settlers, right? We're getting that evidence from A Landscape of History video. Because really, if you think about it, and I probably should have said this earlier, but if you think about it, why can't we get our evidence from chapters 1 through 3 of Thunder Rolling in the Mountains for the U.S. government and settlers? Think about that for a second. If you really think about it, we're reading a book from the point of view or perspective of a Nez Perce girl, right? So you're only getting one side of this argument here, right? We hear what Jason Upright's saying. We hear what General Howard is saying, right? But the perspective is from somebody that is so angry about these people coming onto their land that we're not necessarily getting the facts about why they're coming onto the land and what they believe in, right? So it's really important that we look at that Landscape of History video and we learn about why why they did that. What was their reasoning? Yeah, they may have wanted gold, but for what, right? Some people, maybe it wasn't as malicious, or maybe it was, but the point of view that we're getting solely from Thunder Rolling in the Mountains is that she's angry about this, right? So we need to see the other side and then make a judgment for ourselves. But for this paragraph, we're just showing the facts without that emotion, right? So, Sound of Running Feet and her Nez Perce tribe, why do they want to keep their land? Why is it important to them? What does this show us about their cultural beliefs and values? And then on the other side, why does the U.S. government want the land? Why is it important to them? What does it show us about the group's cultural beliefs and values? Okay, so that's what this is going to look like overall. So if you feel at any point today like you need to make changes to your paragraph, do that. Now is your chance. Okay, right now we are only in the planning stages with our graphic organizers. Okay, we're going to have a chance to kind of edit and revise today before submitting. Okay, so remember your your paragraph should include a topic statement that identifies the groups being contrasted and states the essential idea, how the groups differ. Then 2 supporting points to show how the significance of the Nez Perce homeland differs between the groups. Then evidence from Thunder Rolling in the Mountains and a landscape of history video to support each point. Elaboration on how the evidence relates to the essential idea in your topic statement and reveals differing cultural beliefs and values of each group. Transition. Okay, let me do something. This is something we are going to talk about today before you submit your work. Okay, so keep that word in mind, transition. Okay, and a concluding statement that reinforces, not restates, but reinforces your essential idea. Correct spelling, punctuation, capitalization. Okay. I wish I had known about this earlier. This is so cool. So, all of this can be found in your graphic organizer, though. Oh, look, I highlighted it. Transitions to contrast ideas. All right, so really quickly, let's just review. The topic statement in the contrast paragraph states to the reader how the 2 subjects are different. Okay, so that's up here. Here, topic statement. And then the body, this will come into perfect light here. Yellow, and I want you to think for a second, what color should my second point be? If you remember what we've done in the past to analyze our essays and color code them, you said blue, you were correct because yellow and blue make green. So if you put together your Nez Perce ideas with your U.S. settlers ideas, you should be able to come up with your topic statement by adding them together. And then your concluding statement just reinforces that topic statement. So you can see the green, yellow, blue, green pattern that we've used before. So the body develops the topic with supporting points, followed by evidence and elaboration. Okay, so first, I want to look at the transitions that we talked about. So how do I use transitions to improve my writing? Well, first, what are transitions? So in writing, a transition is a word or phrase that connects one idea to another. So this connection can occur within a paragraph or between paragraphs. Transitions are used to show how sentences or paragraphs are related to each other and how they relate to the overall theme of the paper. But, this is important, transitions also help you express differences between the 2 groups in your writing. Okay, so this kind of ties things together. Here are some examples. So on the left, we have words and phrases to signal a comparison. So like, as well, similarly, in the same way, also, just as, likewise, and in the same manner. Okay? So just as the Nez Perce value the land for whatever reason, the U.S. settlers also value the land for blah, 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 blah. Okay? And they would be similar. Now, words and phrases to signal a contrast. Unlike, as well, yet, still, in contrast, as opposed to, even though, although, on the other hand, however, and but. So, these words, well, first of all, when we're writing our contrast paragraph, which side do you think we're going to focus on? If you said the right side or the red side or the contrast side, you were right, because we're contrasting the Nez Perce and the U.S. government, why the land is significant to them. Okay, so there is a copy of this on your Schoology page for today. So when you're doing this next part where we edit our piece, or at the end when we edit our piece, you're going to want to have this out in front of you and make sure you use these, okay? So let's practice a little bit with other sentences that don't really have to do with our thunder rolling in the mountains. So I want to know what the function of these transitions is. Is it to compare the two things, or is it to contrast the two? So the main characters of the Nez Perce stories, Coyote and the Monster, and how Beaver stole fire from the pines, are both smart, capable animals. But they approach challenges in their stories in very different ways. So take a second to think about that. What is the function? Is it to compare? Or are the transitions but and different to compare or to contrast? Okay, if you were thinking contrast, you're correct. Okay, so the next one. Beaver, on the other hand, has a daring plan that involves stealing fire from the pines and then leading them on a merry chase that they are sure to lose. So on the other hand, is it comparing or contrasting Beaver to the other character that may have been spoken about before this? If you were thinking contrast, you are correct. And for number 3, however, many ways, Sound of Running Feet is different from the other girls. Unlike them, she carries a gun and teaches herself how to shoot it. So however, and unlike them, is that comparing or contrasting? Okay, if you said contrasting, you were correct. However is showing the difference. So it is saying, well, you know, maybe the other girls do this. However, Sound of Running Feet does this. Okay, she carries a gun and teaches herself how to shoot. Okay. All right, 2 more slides. So here's what we need, our resources right now. You should have handout 16B, which is your organizer from yesterday. You should have open handout 16A, which is the U.S. government graphic organizer, and then handout 15A, which is the Nez Perce graphic organizer, and then assessment 16, FQT4 direction. So I want you to pause this video, and I want you to go back into the folders from this week and get these documents. Or, I'm sorry, have them open on your screen because we are going to need them in order to do the next part. Okay, so right now I want you to have open handout 16B from the November 19th folder in a new tab. I want you to open the focusing question task 4 assignment in your November 20th folder in a new tab. So you should also have open the other ones that I said to have open, but your main focus will be 16B and then your focusing question task 4 assignment. So when you're in that...
Also, really quickly, I just want to add that you can also, I've posted links to get to the assignment within today's folder. So those are there for you.
Focusing question task 4 assignment, over on the right hand side, you're going to click the word submit, and that's going to open a box that says upload, it says create, and then it might say resources or something. I'm not really sure what the third one is. But either way, you're going to click create, and that's going to give you a box to type in. So you're going to copy and paste the text from that third column in your graphic organizer on handout 16B into the box you just opened up on your focusing question task 4 assignment. Do not press submit yet. Once you put it in there, you have another job to do. You're going to choose at least 2 sentences from your newly created paragraph to revise by adding an appropriate comparison or contrast transition. Okay, so our focus is on contrasting, so we can take out comparison and just say appropriate contrast transitions, and then make your revisions. Then I want you, when you're done with that, to open up handout 16C and check to make sure you have completed everything on that checklist. Okay, that is your focusing question task 4 checklist. It tells you exactly what you need. Make sure that you have it. If you do not, make the necessary corrections, then press submit. Okay, if you already had all of them, after you make your revisions and add in the transitions, then you can press submit. Okay, your focusing question task is due today, Friday, November 20th. Not Saturday, not Sunday, not Monday, unless you have an issue and we've spoken about it. Okay? I think that's it for now. If you have any questions and you are working remotely and you are not in class for this, you need to ask me before you submit anything. Okay? You should be coming to this lesson, so most of you will not be hearing it like this, but it is here. My other suggestion is that you pause this video right at the end and leave the screen open so you know exactly what to do and the directions in which to do it. Okay? Good luck. Happy writing. I am so confident that these are going to be great paragraphs because we have been spending so much time analyzing this. We've been reading the book. We've watched that video quite a few times. I really feel confident in your abilities to tell me why the land is so important to each group. Okay? Good luck. Do your very best. Proofread your work. Read over it. Read it out loud. Read it to a friend. Read it to your parents. Whatever. Before submitting it. Okay? Bye-bye.